Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is Go Live After 5, episode number 1. Jeff and I are going to do a few of these this year, and but we are at spring training.
We are.
We just got back from Tempe, Arizona, where the Texas Rangers just demolished the Angels, the Anaheim Angels.
Yeah,
the Los Angeles Anaheim Angels.
It was a terrible game.
Yes, it was. Anyway, so guys, get on here. Whatever you're going to do, we're going to share this thing out. Get on if you got any questions. Talk about the game today, though. Nathan Eovaldi especially. We talked to him after the game while I get this out.
Yeah, he pitched 4 2/3 innings. He ended up allowing 4 runs. Rangers threw out a couple guys at home. He walked 4, including 3 after when 3 with 2 outs, so he wasn't too happy about that, but he was pretty happy with the rest of it. And one of the runs was unearned. One of the runs scored after he left the game there in the 5th. He had reached 83 or 84 pitches, and that was all he needed to do. So he's trending toward the opening day start. The Rangers haven't announced anything, but he's lined up for it. It's not hard to to connect the dots, and maybe they're just waiting for him to get through his last spring start, which he says is next week. He might have a second one after that. There was some confusion among Eovaldi and the beat writers, and then Bruce Bochy, and so we're not sure. But there is time for him to make 2 if he wants them. I suppose he could do a extended bullpen, or they could do some kind of sim game or something there, just to get him, keep his arm fresh and keep him sharp. But he was fine. Against a decent Angels lineup. They didn't have Trout in it, but it had most of their other regulars and whoever they are. I really don't know at this point who the Angels regulars are. I'm not sure they know. And then Wyatt Langford had a big day, single, walk,
2 for 3.
fielder's choice. We'll get to that in a second. RBI double. So he scored 4 times. Evan Carter had a nice game ahead of him. Willie Calhoun was the right fielder for the Angels, and he hasn't gotten any better defensively. And he kind of contributed to Wyatt's first hit, and then there was another one later in the game that he just couldn't get to. And we like Willie a lot, good guy, but he's definitely a DH only, and then that's. But anyway, on the Rangers front, Jonathan Hernandez made his spring debut. He's probably not going to be ready for opening day. Bruce Bochy said it depends on how he feels after today's outing and when he can throw again. And if he isn't ready, it's a short-term thing. He'd probably be ready within the first week or 2, pretty much no doubt. It sounds like Josh Young is going to be ready for opening day. Played a minor league game today. I'm not sure how hard he ran, but he has ramped that up. We saw him running around the outfield or on the edge of the infield, as they do when they're hurt. But he will definitely be playing, Bochy said, in the exhibition games, the 25th and 26th at Globe Life Field against the Red Sox. So Corey Seager's going to swing. He swung a bat today, apparently. He was running.
Light swings. They were called light swings.
Yeah, he was running today, fielded ground balls. Bochy said ask next week about his availability for opening day. So I'm still leaning no on him. So I don't know. We'll see. But there was some news. There was a game, and Rangers play a game tomorrow at home against the Guardians, and then they're off Wednesday. So their annual they do the off day followed by a night game. Every year they do it. This year I think it's preceded by the prospect game with a team of prospects. Justin Foscue is healthy. He's not going to play in that game, though. I think the Rangers, that might tell you something about what the Rangers think about his plans if you want to read into things like that.
Right.
So anyway, it's game 18, I think.
Retweet that tweet out a second. We'll try to get it out there in a second. Keep talking. Game 18. So listen, we've gone to every game since we've been here. We got here Tuesday night. You came in already
Wednesday night. Yeah.
Wednesday night. We didn't come to that game, but we did come in with Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're not Sunday. this Monday. We went to every game that they've played so far. We will be. We didn't know if we were going to go out to Tempe today until they said Evaldi was going to start.
Yeah. You know, you don't want to make that drive back. The drive there is not a problem. It's the drive back. And if he had pitched in the minor league game, that would have been much better for everybody. But it did allow us to see Ron Washington,
Yes.
who's my all-time favorite person. I think.
Can we say what he said?
No, we shouldn't say what he said. So anyway, good day. It's a good day.
It was a good day. And tomorrow's our last day here. We head out tomorrow night. And I love this every time. We've run into a lot of Rangers Today fans, a lot of you guys, and we can't thank you guys enough. I mean, I've gotten called over, I don't know how many times now, and questions and that, and just asking. And it's great. That's why we wanted to try to do this. I know there's a few of you on there right now. I can't see how many. You can obviously ask questions if you want, guys. Just throw them in. This new StreamYard live stream interaction, we're learning it, okay? So I want to be very careful. If we don't get any questions we can answer, or if somehow we can't figure it out, then we'll at least do 30 minutes here, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah,
and go get food, because we haven't eaten. Now it's 6 o'clock here, but it's 8 o'clock back home. But if you have questions, guys, punch them in. I can actually punch them up, believe it or not. And it'll come up on the screen from who it's from, and we can answer them. It's supposed to be fancy, but I'm IT in Arizona, so we know that could be a problem.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 games.
4 games.
The games don't matter.
A lot of backfield stuff.
I think it's become abundantly clear to me that Wyatt Langford is going to be on the opening day roster. I don't see a way in which he isn't, and they're not just going to put him on the roster and set him on the bench. He's going to play.
Yeah.
The guy can hit. He's fast as he's one of the faster guys on the team. Today he beat out the back end of a double play, and
one of his singles yesterday was
one of his singles was but today beats it out, keeps the inning alive. Ezekiel Duran falls with a home run. Those are just little things that in spring training, it's impressive. I don't know if Adolis Garcia is going to leg that one out, but you see a young guy who wants to play, do all he can, and he's doing all he can. And I know I made a big deal out of the sun balls, especially the one yesterday that got him in the ribs.
Right.
I'm not gonna publicly laugh at the guy. Because I couldn't do it either. Probably hit me in the nose.
Yeah, probably.
But it was kind of funny, and he had a good sense of humor about it. But the defense is fine. He's going to have a roof over his head, so that's going to cut out the sun stuff.
Yeah.
And there aren't a lot of day games in the major league, so he's going to be fine. I think
the funny part about that yesterday was he was down from me, and the moment that ball went up, you went, uh-oh, and you could tell that Wyatt was having trouble with it, and you spotted it right away, and then it hit him. Did he say in the ribs?
Hit him in the ribs. Yeah, I guess it would have been his right ribs.
Right.
Trying to envision it. Yeah, right side. He's fine. I mean, he's an old catcher, so he's probably used to getting hit in the ribs. But
he laughed it off.
He had a good sense of humor about it, and those things happen. And but the point is, we're at the midway point of spring, and he went 2 for 3 today. He entered the day, I think 346, slugging over 1200. He added to that. He took a walk. I mean, this guy, he said he was seeing the ball well. I think he's been seeing it well pretty much all spring. Everybody's there are people who are worried about the strikeouts. He didn't strike out today. I think he struck out 10 times now on what would be 29 at bats. So that's probably a little high on the strikeout rate, but probably chalk up some of it early on to his timing being off. And then the rest of it is he's seeing pitchers he hasn't seen before, and he's going to see them. He's going to see more of them. And when he does, he's going to get better. So I think that I just think he's on the roster, especially if Corey Seager is not ready to go. They're going to need a little punch.
Right.
He's batted third every game he's been in this spring, which I think is interesting. It's where he batted in college. It's where, if you believe what you saw on ESPN, if he had been needed in the postseason, they were going to bring him up and bat him third. I think somebody tried to knock that down, but he was going to be right there in the middle of the lineup. And this is a pretty talented guy, and I know that he only has 161 minor league at bats. I think 19 of those are at AAA, so not a ton there, but everything about him, poise, makeup, talent, you know, those things are all there. And there's also the draft pick thing, if you think about that. So it just a lot of stars are aligning for Wyatt Langford to be on the opening day roster.
Well, in talking to Bochy today, I mean, you know, you guys were trying to goad him into, can you say specifically that he is going to be on this roster? And he goes, what are you trying to get at something? That's what he said.
Yeah.
He responded. And he goes, look, you know, he all but said, as of right now, what else could we ask of him? You know what I mean? And let me tell you something. Let's not overlook what Evan Carter did today.
Right.
Evan Carter had 2 singles, took it the other way. First one was against a left-hander.
Right.
Which, you know, that's the thing. He's got to learn how to get hit against the left-hander.
Yeah.
And he did that. He put together 2 good at-bats. I mean, let's be honest, today's lineup, the power and punch to this lineup today was Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford. That's who the best hitters on the lineup were today.
Well, and then the Duran with the home run.
Right, but as far as what most people's perception of this is, those are the guys that were the 2 bigger bats in the lineup.
Yeah, Simeon didn't travel.
No,
and Garcia didn't. Samuel, Garcia did not travel. Young is hurt. Seager's hurt. Nathaniel Lowe is hurt. Jonah Heim did not play. Kisner's fine. Has a little pop in his bat. So Taveras didn't play. So really, there were only 2 guys who are going to be on, in the opening day. Well, 3, I guess. Duran will probably be in the opening day lineup if Seager's hurt. So, that's what you run into in spring training on these longer trips to that aren't Glendale or Peoria, basically. So,
right,
you're going to run into guys who are veterans and can play the veteran card and not go, but still scored 15 times, took advantage of some sloppy Angels play. And that's, kind of what Wash saying. That was their first bad game. I haven't been following them, but they were, I think, second or third, I think, in the Cactus League standings, whatever that means. But Wash is pretty happy with how that team's playing. I don't see how they're going to win a bunch of games. That's
what's such a shame.
Their lineups,
they're not good guys, and
not great. And then,
well, that guy the guy that was their start, Sandoval,
Patrick Sandoval,
he's slated to be in the middle of their line in their rotation.
He's usually pretty good. He was terrible today and didn't get a lot of help behind him, but none of that matters. We'll see what it looks like on March 28th. But
Wash was funny though, because when he talked about some of it, he goes, a couple of the big boys were out of the lineup today, and you go, who? And he goes, Trout.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I guess he does count as 2 big boys.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so we're getting there. We've only got, what's today, the 11th, so 17 days till opening day, 12 until they break camp. So we got some decisions to be made and some guys to earn some jobs, and if John Hernandez is going to be on the injured list, and that probably makes 3 bullpen spots available, maybe 4 if they aren't very happy with Brock Burke, but they haven't given any indication of that yet. So,
right.
I would think Mark Church has got a spot. I wrote that at Rangers today.
Right.
Which you can get for right now. You can get it for $48. $48, John. Let's not oversell them.
I was looking at the little thing you gave me.
Well, that's for people who are actually in Arizona.
Okay, in Arizona.
But, $48.
That's still a deal.
It's a steal. It's $4 a month. But anyway,
you brought up something interesting today, though. When we were driving back, so we're driving back from Tempe. It's about a 45-minute drive
with no traffic.
With no traffic, and we had traffic, so it took us a little while. And you brought up the idea that there might be a name that has been on this roster the last couple of years that could possibly not make this team.
Yeah,
a lot of things would fall, but you made a point of it.
Josh Smith, I think, I thought until I don't know, Saturday, he was a lock for the roster, but then the Rangers made a waiver claim of Jose Barrero, who's out of options, a former top Reds prospect. He was the Reds opening day shortstop yesterday. He played right field today, threw a guy out at home by a mile.
Yeah.
By a mile. And that makes things a little more interesting for Josh Smith. You know,
we got a question coming up, so we'll get it here in just a second.
They could option Smith to start the year, have Barrero on the roster,
right?
Try to sneak him through waivers after a week or 10 days, and see if he can make it through. And if not, call up Josh Smith. But I would think that at some point loyalty plays a factor. But again, Barrero was a high shit prospect, and has some talent. He looks good.
He hit a ball. He hit a good double today. It was
double today.
He hit it hard.
Smith had a double too.
Yeah.
So
let's answer Nathan Dyer. He said, "Sorry, I'm late." Yeah, we were late too. So all apologies are accepted because we had a long time getting here. Will they sign any starting pitching? Bradford needs to be in the pen. As of now, I guess the only one that possibility might be there might be Montgomery, but we just don't feel that's going to happen.
I don't think so. And I think people are undervaluing or people who are running cold on Cody Bradford shouldn't be. He spots the fastball so well. He's worked hard to add a curveball. His changeup's very good. He prepares.
He looked great the other day.
He's poised. He has deception.
Landon, we see it. We're coming up in a second.
I think Cody Bradford's going to be all right.
They're starting to roll in now. This is good.
But I think if they'd had the chance to sign somebody, they would, just because. Nothing against Bradford, but because the depth is so bad, and on the rotation depth. I mean, who are you looking at right now? You're looking at Jose Urena and Jack Leiter. I don't think Danny Duffy is in the mix for a rotation spot anymore. I think that if he makes the team, it's going to be as a reliever. So,
and I hope so, because him and I've hit it off.
Yeah, he's a good guy. But you have the
we see all you guys. They're going to be coming up just a second.
Your Urena and Leiter, and then it's White, Wynn, Kent, and I wouldn't feel very good about that.
Yeah.
So, if Montgomery finally coalesces and is willing to accept a smaller deal, I think that there might be a possibility there. I mean, everybody loves a 1-year deal, and I know it would probably kick the Rangers to another level of the luxury tax, but
for 1 year and no commitment after, I think they would be willing.
It would be hard. It would be hard for them to justify not signing him for like a 1 year, $20 million deal.
Sure. Landon Wilson, who has the upper hand at the first base job as of now? This is a great question because it really looks like Nathaniel Lowe, who has not even stepped out of the clubhouse the last few days.
Out of the clubhouse. He just isn't doing anything.
He's not doing anything. Who has the upper hand? Walsh? Is that who you think of?
Well, yeah, I think it'll be a platoon. I think it'd be Walsh and Foscue over Krim, though Krim's the better defensive first baseman. I mean, he's not a Gold Glove winner.
He had a good hit today,
but
too.
He's at least played the position. Foscue has not. Foscue returned to action today. He was being held out as a very, very high precaution for some side that really wasn't in his pain. That wasn't really in his side. It was more in his back. So the Rangers aren't too worried about it. He got 3 at bats and got out. He did fine. I don't recall him being pressed into any extraordinary action at first base. He's a hitter. He can hit, and the Rangers are going to face a lot of lefties early on. They're
okay. So
I think a platoon, a Walsh Foscue platoon.
Okay, Walsh Foscue platoon. Foscue looked decent today too. Yeah. He played first base. So
right.
Foscue played first base in the game today, and he looked pretty good. Miguel Marquez, how have some of the international prospects from the backfields looked? Well, obviously, we know about Sebastian Walcott, who we had on the show, who's looked good taking bat practice. We were not back there today, guys. They played their first games today. Yeah. Haven't really had a chance to see exactly what happened. I know that Acosta,
Max Acosta, still out there,
played in the Double-A game and hit a double.
I don't know that he's a prospect anymore. It's weird how fleeting these guys can be. Injuries kind of derailed him. COVID didn't help. Anthony Gutierrez played in the Double-A game. I've always liked Glider Figueroa. He was in the High A game. Jason Morobel was in that game, and he missed a lot of last season with a shoulder injury. You always got to worry about the shoulder. The guys coming off the shoulder injuries because it's a big deal. Cody Bellinger's a good example of those guys that have that injury, how they have trouble. Josh Young actually bucked the trend, I guess, but there can be some trouble there. Aaron Zavala ran into it. Other international guys, Paulino Santana.
I have not seen him
I
yet.
think he's going to come to camp. He's not here now. I think he probably sneaks in at the end of camp just to get a taste of what it's like here in Arizona.
But do you think he plays in the DSL?
I think he starts in the DSL. Maybe he can move to Arizona as
This is
Gutierrez
one
and
whose
Walcott.
English may not be near.
No, his English is good.
Oh, it is. Okay.
I mean, he's bilingual. I mean, he's from the Dominican, and I don't think he could come on our show just yet, but
okay.
He's fine. Those are the guys we've seen that I've taken notice of. They've been here forever. They've been here as long as the Rangers pitchers. I mean, they've been here a while, working hard, and those guys work hard, man.
Hey, I'm going to skip around a little bit. Nathan, you got 3 in there. I'll get a couple of them in. Let's go to this one right here. How about Sampson? Is he still in the running for the relief 6-starter row? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he is. I always forget about Adrian Sampson.
I see him every day. He says hi. And
super nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. His last outing wasn't great, but he was pretty good with the Cubs a couple years ago.
Yeah, he really was.
He hurt his knee last year. He tried to come back early from it, and it really just kind of compounded things. So he got that straightened out. Good guy. I think he was the Rangers Rookie of the Year in 19 with a 5.89 ERA. So that ought to tell you how thin the Rangers were that year. But good guy. And yes, I would say that he's in the hunt, and it's my fault for forgetting him. Yeah.
And it might be a relief role that he gets. I mean, right
Sure.
now, I think so. Right now, if you look at this at the 5th starter, right now, your Bradford's obviously sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, but Araña's been good, and Araña has a lot of experience, and they don't have a lot of depth. And so if it takes signing him, adding him to add to the depth, then I think Bradford's in the mortal guy to go to the rotate bullpen. So if that's what they decide to do, that's one way that Bradford ends up in the bullpen.
Well, he came here to win a job, and he has won one way or the other. Bradford's
he was definitely going to be on the team, but there's no arguing, no denying that he has delivered on his intent to make it a hard decision for the Rangers.
Well, and I did see Urena the other day, and I liked him. He looked good.
Yeah, he's got to keep the ball down, but
he's a big boy too.
Pretty big,
pretty tall. Doing that. Okay, so let's see. Nathan, you're the only one getting on her. Guys, if you got questions, just pop them in. Obviously, we'll try to get them up. We probably got about maybe about 7 or 8, 9 more minutes on here. Question: the Rangers have solid history with developing hitters, position players. How do they have such trouble developing pitching? That's been a question going on since I've been a Ranger fan, to tell you the truth. But they have had some success.
The Rangers aren't the only ones asking who have that problem. I mean, the inability to develop starting pitching gets all kinds of organizations in trouble. But the Giants championship teams were built on homegrown starting pitching. The Mets there when they made their World Series run and ended up losing to the Royals. Well, a long time ago, but more recently they had that Harvey and Syndergaard that helped with them. They had Zach Wheeler too, and they traded him or whatever happened there. I don't recall, but the fact is that yes, the Rangers have never turned out like a Cy Young caliber guy. I mean, who's their best recently? Probably Derek Holland. I mean, honestly, Martin Perez was homegrown. I mean,
the Texas Rangers have only developed one true ace. I've been following them since '74. They've only developed one true ace, and that was Kevin Brown.
Kevin Brown, yeah.
He is the only one that came out and was a number one starter, and he ended up not. I mean, Kenny Rogers, I guess, was close, but he wasn't a true ace. He was a great starting pitcher
Yeah,
for a while.
Bobby Witt was good for a while, but again,
But he was never a true ace. Kevin Brown was a shutdown ace that would go out there, and if he didn't get runs, I mean, he would piss him off, and he was a hothead to go with it. But he went out and helped other teams. Is what he did.
You know, I mean, it's you know, the draft is a crapshoot. You know,
They got Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter, all these top 5 picks they've got.
Well, and there are people who don't think you should take a pitcher that high, and you know, unless it's you know, Steven Strasburg or Paul Skeens, who looks like he's going to be pretty good. I think Leiter's had a great spring.
Yeah,
I mean,
he really has. Yeah,
he's still in big league camp. I don't think that they're really considering him for a role. I think he's in camp to continue building his confidence, but he of the 4 most advanced starters, the guys who need to be in the major leagues or be major league options, he has by far had the best spring and looked the best. But yeah, it's been a problem, and it's probably cost some, you know, scouting directors their jobs, and cost maybe some minor league pitching guys and you know, coaches and coordinators their jobs.
Yeah, you know, this is a great question, because you're the one that said, look at that AA roster today. Is there anything to Walcott playing in the AA game today, or do they move guys around quite a bit in the minor league spring games? Yeah, a bit of both, actually.
Well, I think early on, while there's still a lot of guys who are going to be in the minors who are still in big league camp, I think the guys play up. You know, Sebastian finished at high A. But he went to high A because it was a better fit for him where he was. You know, as John learned this week, in the Bahamas they speak English, and you know, when they sent him to the Dominican, there was a big language barrier, and it was an issue. And Carlos Maldonado is the coach at down east. Great guy, speaks good English, but he is a Spanish speaker first. I don't know if that might have been part of why Sebastian went to
the ACL
Hickory instead of down east there at the end of last year. But the fact of the matter is that he's a really good player, and you know, if Cam Cauley starts at Frisco, if Acosta starts at Frisco, then I could see a scenario where Walcott is at Hickory to start the year. Yeah.
I think,
not Frisco.
Right. I think what you can take from that is that he ended in Hickory, and like you said, you just thought it might have been a better fit with who they had there. I could say, and Hickory is high A, by the way, for those that, you know, they used to be low A, now they're high A. I really do kind of think he is probably going to end up at Hickory.
He could.
If you guys didn't go back and look at the show we just did with him 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Listen to him talk. This is a 17-year-old kid. He'll be 18 this week or coming up Friday.
Yeah.
Listen to him talk. Just listen to how mature he is, how he's handling things here. He's already played in some big league games where he's come in. Now he's come in late. He's not going to start a big league game, obviously, but he's come in and done that. And he's got a grin on it. He's just loving it.
Good kid.
He's just a great kid, having a blast. And it's just unbelievable that I cannot believe I've got a son his age and how big he is and how mature. And my son's mature too for his age too. But it's unbelievable. But
and keep in mind, there's no need to rush Sebastian Walcott.
No,
the Rangers are in pretty good shape at shortstop. So I think that, you know, we don't need to step on the gas with him. He just needs to. That doesn't mean you can't challenge him.
Right.
But it doesn't mean you have to challenge him.
Exactly.
I mean, they can take their time with him, you know, because
he's only 18 years old.
And Corey Seager's the shortstop. And and Walcott's probably going to end up playing somewhere else. So maybe if you think that the Rangers aren't going to sign Adolis Garcia, let's say, and Walcott ends up being a right fielder, okay,
he moves to a corner.
Okay, he's got 3 years to do that. You know, there's just no need to.
You know what? You go hit.
Rush him.
You go hit at every level and show power and hit. The Texas Rangers will say, If you're blocked, they will find a position for you.
Yeah,
And he is such a great athlete.
right.
They are going to find a place for him. And another thing to go along with that, like Jeff said, obviously some guys are still in big league camp. Sometimes they'll challenge them, play them up. I never dismiss the fact that today Double A and Triple A played on the Rangers backfields. Single A went over to play over in the Royals, which isn't far for anyone that's ever been there. It's really not all that far over there. But when the brass wants to go back and watch a couple of guys, it's probably simpler to go right back there too and catch it. Although you dismiss that, I say, you know what? Sometimes maybe they just want to go right back there and not have.
They probably get bothered less on the road. You know?
Oh, that's true. Because
So
Chris was getting bothered the other day. CY was over there getting wired, bothered a little bit. Let's see. What's this one right here? Will Leiter be the long man 6 starter? Is he the only other young starter still up?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes. To answer that question, yes, he's the only other one. Yeah, he's all the other guys are in minor league camp. White Win, Kent, Corniel, who's a couple levels below them.
He's only 20, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 20. His birthday's not till June. So anyway, I don't I don't think Leiter breaks with the team. I really don't, especially with the situation with the depth. It is a tried and true way to break a young guy into the majors, though, as a reliever. But he needs to keep getting steady work. And if he is struck on something here, go and let it play out a little bit at AAA. Go and be a starter. And when somebody gets hurt, because it's not an if, it's a when. Make yourself the number one option. And the guy, that's what Cody Bradford did last year.
Right.
He did not, when he left spring training, he was I'm pretty sure he was in the first wave. He was not thought to be
an option,
the first option.
No.
And then he goes out and is the Pacific Coast League pitcher of the month in April, turns in a pretty good start to start May. And next thing you know, he's facing Ronald Acuna. So, go out and show them, force their hands.
Boy, and did he ever do that last year and just impress them? And this is a guy that does not throw that hard. He hovers around 90, gets a little below that. But man, the deception he had, that's a Dane Dunning like thing. Dunning does that too. He throws right around 90. He doesn't really get up above that.
I was thinking about this the other day when we were talking about him. And all right, who's a left-hander who didn't throw hard? And great success changing speeds, and I thought of Dallas Keuchel. Now they're different guys because Dallas Keuchel's short,
right?
Cody Bradford is tall, but in principle they're the same in pitching styles. And Dallas Keuchel won a Cy Young. I'm not saying Cody Bradford's going to win a Cy Young, but he's pretty handy, and maybe he does play better in long relief. I think it's too early to judge that. Maybe what he is now. That's the case, but the Rangers don't really have a choice unless they want to spend some money, and apparently they don't want to.
All right, let's
couple more. I'm hungry.
Couple more. We're gonna go do it. The starting rotation prediction for Frisco.
Dane Acker pitched today in the Double-A game. Josh Steven pitched in that game, so there's 2 for you. I tell you, I talked to Avery Weems the other day, and he's going to break camp. He'll be healthy enough to break with a full season affiliate. Maybe he builds up into that.
He was part of that Dane Dunning trade for Lance Lynn.
He's a good guy, man. He talks. He had a pretty. We got to get him on the show because he had a pretty interesting story about his Tommy John.
Cool. All right.
But a good guy, just loves to talk.
Left-hander.
Yeah.
That's one. Okay, we want to do that.
Yeah, so I would start with those 3. I don't think Teodo goes there. Maybe he goes there. He's
going to stay in he is a rotation.
Yeah, maybe he goes there.
You're not going to see Porter there yet.
Yeah, not Porter. I would get. I don't know about Teodo. I would say Corniel goes to
Who
Frisco.
ended there last year?
Shit, I don't know. A lot of guys. Acker was one of them. Stevens. Our boy Josh was hurt,
right?
But anyway, I think that's where they go. But it's too soon for Porter.
Yes,
and probably too soon for Aiden Curry. Although I wouldn't be surprised if
someone like Mitch Bratt
midway through the year, Mitch Bratt, who was hurt last year, he can move up too. So it's going to be guys and they're only a 45-minute drive away.
And Landon, we saw yours, Aiden Curry. He brought it up. If you just saw that. The last question, guys: if Bradford stays in the rotation, are we not worried about a lefty in the pen? Burke doesn't instill confidence. Bruce Bochy doesn't worry about right-handed or left-handed.
Yeah, that was addressed the other day. He said his very first bullpen
in the World Series
had with the Padres did not have a left-hander. He doesn't care. He just wants the best arms.
There are good right-handers that get left-handers out.
Yeah, I think Jake Latz is going to make the team. So there's a left-hander for you. I just with the 3-batter minimum, it's really you don't need the left-handed specialists. They're nice to have. It would be nice to have a guy you can bring in to get Shohei Ohtani out in Game 7 of the World Series. That'd be great. But if you have more faith in Daniel Robertson or Josh Sborz' curveball, which left-handers can't seem to hit, then go with, if your right-hander is your best option, go with your right-hander. So I don't think Bruce Bochy doesn't care. I understand. I would like to see some lefties out there, and you're right about Brock Burke, especially after the last season. But he's got a new arm stroke. It's a little bit shorter. They think it's going to clear up some of the problems, mainly the 13 home runs he gave up in 59 and 2/3 innings. He gave up a homer the other day, though. But it's spring training. Doesn't matter.
Hey, this is a World Series champion team. They are not going to let someone figure it out in the big leagues.
Yeah.
They plan on competing for the World Series, and either you're going to put up or you're not going to be there.
Yeah. And really, you would think that Burke has a spot in the opening
right now. Yeah, you would think so.
He's making $1 million, but if they think there's somebody better, I mean, Mark Church is going to be in the bullpen. Mark Church, obviously not left-handed, but Mark Church is in it. I think he's just been.
Dane Acker is your guy Jake Latz is your guy.
Jake Latz, I've been kind of high on him. Just the way he finished last year, he's with them throughout the World Series. He obviously didn't pitch, but they liked him enough, thought enough of him to keep him there. So other lefties, they're really, I can't even think of any other. Antoine Kelly got sent out yesterday. He still needs to throw more strikes and work on some other minor things like holding runners. That's something that he needs to work on. Fielding his position. He's not Greg Maddux out there. So they've got things they want him to work on. He'll probably be at AAA. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a heavy right-handed bullpen, and that's fine if they can get left-handers out.
Okay, guys, listen, it's been a lot of fun doing this tonight. This is Live After 5. It's a new thing we're going to start doing. It's called a Live After 5 Q&A. Probably going to go about 30 to 40 minutes every night. We're not just going to do this in spring training. During the season, on off nights, if we have a chance, we might break one of these out.
That's right.
And do it, and you won't see us in studios. We'll probably be at our homes with our kids and do something like that after everybody's fed and doing that. But we want to do these. We want y'all involved. We look, we've had so many people that have been here that have come up to us and love what we're doing, love Jeff's writing, especially like the podcast, like the guest we're having on. We will answer your questions. We tried to get to every one of them here. A lot of you were asking multiple questions. We're going to, if we get more people on, we'll be able to weed through them and do that. We really had a blast. We're here at spring training. We're having a fun time. We're going to do another one from spring training. Jeff will be back Sunday night. We're flying out of here tomorrow. And then he'll be back Sunday night, and we can do it again.
Yeah, they've got an off day on the Thursday, the 21st,
right?
I guess. So we could probably, here's how spring training works. The off day Wednesday, they're going to meet, and they're going to talk about roster cuts. The night game Thursday, before the night game, they're going to talk about roster cuts. And then that last Thursday, they're going to have a big powwow. I guarantee you, they're going to have a big powwow on Friday. They're going to have a lot of their decisions made. They'll start making them shortly. That first week,
right?
Or that last week. At the start of that last week, they'll start announcing little things. But I'm telling you, that Friday they're going to come in, and there's going to be a lot of decisions made.
Guys, thank you a lot for listening. Remember, it's Rangers Today at rangerstoday.com. $48 for a deal right now.
For new subscribers.
For new subscribers.
Not you, Chev.
Huh?
Not Chev.
Not not Chubb. No, for new subscribers.
Although, if you want to get a buddy a subscription, you can do that for
Yep.
$48.
You can do that for $48. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. For Jeff Wilson, I'm John Moore. Thanks again, guys. Next time, we'll see you at the yard.